here to talk about parent and engagement empowerment. So,
Tuned in to the realest conversations on the net. So sit back, relax, and you already know what to do.
Talk to me, brother calls on the scene. Real talk, good vibes and everything in between. Hit that like, share the light, you know what it means. Subscribe, don't hide, join the fam, live the dream. Talk to me when the truth get told. Brother Carl in the chair, got wisdom, that's gold. You don't wanna miss a minute, nah, not at all. Hit that bell and the light, coming around with Carl. He bring the heat from the streets to the soul. Last loving lessons, yeah, we play that role. Coming down low, let your voice be heard. This the people show, powered up by the word. Talk to me, brother calls on the scene. Real talk, good vibes and everything in between. Hit that like, share the light, you know what it means. Subscribe, don't hide, join the fam, live the dream. You know the vibe, this is Talk to Me with brother Carl. Every voice matters, like, share, subscribe. Let's talk, let's grow, let's get it in. Good vibes, everything, hit the light, share the light, you know what it means. Subscribe, don't hide, join the fam, live the dream out. Live the dream out. Just talk to me where the truth gets told. Brother Carl in the chair, got wisdom, that's gold. You don't wanna miss a minute, nah, not at all. Hit that bell and the light, come around with Carl. You bring the heat from the streets to the soul. Laughs, love, and lessons, yeah, we play that role. Coming down low, let your voice be heard. It's the people show, powered up by the word. Know the vibe. This is Talk to Me with brother Carl. Every voice matters. Like, share, subscribe. Let's talk, let's grow, let's get it out. Bro, talk to me. Brother Carl's on the scene. Real talk, good vibes. This is Talk to Me with brother Carl. Every voice matters. Like, share, subscribe. Let's talk, let's grow, let's get it out. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, brother Carl. You're tuned in to the realest conversations on the net. So sit back, relax, and you already know what to do.
Welcome to Talk to Me with Brother Carl, the space where real conversations meet real people. I'm your production assistant, Shelly. This is where we break down life, love, faith, and community in a way that's open, honest, and unapologetically real. No scripts, no filters, just straight talk that uplifts, challenges, and inspires. Whether it's tackling everyday struggles, celebrating triumphs, or digging deep into the issues that matter most, I want you to feel like you're sitting right here at the table with Carl. So pull up a chair, lean in, and let's talk about it. This is Talk to Me with Brother Carl. Welcome to the stage, my cousins, and your community voice, Brother Carl, and the best podcast producer in Florida, Anthony Brown.
All right, it's about time. I want to apologize for taking that long opening, Ms. DuPont.
no problem. It's perfect.
And I wanted to bring you on because of the interest that you have inside of our community and the location that you have inside of our community. It's important for our family to understand some of the difficulties that we encounter inside of education. And one of the major problems that we have is the interaction between the parent and the school and the parent and the student. So you're a professional in that realm of understanding. And I think if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, Ms. DuPont, so that people can better understand who you are.
Yeah, thank you. And I truly appreciate you all for giving me the time to share information that I think to empower our parents so they can continue to do what they can to support our students, especially when you consider the environment they're operating in. You know, Maya Angelou said, you see my glory, but you don't know my story. I know from personal experience the impact that caring adults can have on the lives of children, and myself as an individual is an example. For example, I'm the granddaughter of a lady who could not read or write. I was about 35 years old before I knew and understood that. My parents did not graduate high school. My mother was a maid, and my father, worked as what we call a mechanic. And but they had something that you cannot get from books or colleges. They had volumes of knowledge that was stamped with common sense, and they valued education. In fact, my grandmother had such a wonderful sense of humor. She said, a person with an educated person without common sense is like a jackass with a load of books on his back. You know, we always thought that was so funny. But they also taught me that credentials on a wall do not make you a decent human being. And they also cared about my character, they valued education, and they taught college to me. And now I thought I admired my mother so much. I thought I would grow up to be a maid like my mother. And but with her guidance, she saw me as being a teacher, but I never considered that. But as a result, I earned 2 degrees in math and a doctorate in educational leadership. But most importantly, it was because of them that I was able to graduate college debt free. You know how they pooled their little money together. But then what I wanted to know, when I retired in 2004 from the school district, it was 2 quotes that kept ringing in my mind. And one was, Dr. King said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." And Frederick Douglass said, "It is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." And so that's why I become passionate about working with parents so they can understand efficacy. And efficacy is a person's belief in his own ability to perform at high levels. And they have confidence in themselves to do so. And that's why I do the work that I do in the community. And what I've shared with the parents, you know, they talk about involvement, and then they also talk about engagement. Now, involvement, in my definition, is what you do to and for your children. Engagement is what you do to, for, and with your children. And so what I do, I spend my time in the community, working with parents, and also I make myself available to go to school with them if they have their specific issues. And when they go, I have them to understand that when you leave, the school gonna have what it need to do for your child, and then whatever you could do in turn to support that and follow up at home. And I did request that video with Deontay Bridges, if we could just look at it's a 5-minute video.
But we're having a difficulty with that, Miss.
It is
DuPont,
okay.
Because wait a minute, because we're on YouTube, and we can't play YouTube on YouTube.
I got you. Okay, no problem. But let me tell you the essence of his that video. This is a young man who was negatively stereotyped by society. He was enticed to use drugs. He was overwhelmed by his mother's diagnosis with leukemia. He robbed at gunpoint, and he experienced the death of his brother. And this same young man, he managed to become valedictorian in his class, and he earned over $1 million in scholarships. And it's just such a beautiful story. So I hope that if someone, you can't see it now, but they go and play it, it's no more than 5 minutes. But
what's the name of it again?
It's a Deontay Bridges. That's the young man's name.
And that's on YouTube.
Yes, it's on YouTube. And because it's worth listening to only because, and I'm going to tell you what I advocate for parents. We have to build our children confidence that they can do, they can perform at high levels, you know, because when they were born with enough intelligence to do challenging, complex work. And then, what I loved about him is a motto that called "Get Smart." That means if you have your confidence, that make you put forth the effort, and that's how you get stronger. You get better, stronger, and smarter. And so his confidence about himself was, in the video, he said, I embraced the challenges of several advanced placement courses. And this is what I really love about what he said. I didn't allow my personal problems to serve as excuses because I understood that each problem has its solution. And he also said, and that solution lies in me. My faith in God and my ability to overcome adversity and make rational decisions. And that's just some of what he said, showing that the confidence. Because when you look at his circumstances, you would think, here's somebody who could almost just give up and not do what he could do. And that's why I was just so proud of him. And I hope that you all will be able to show, they will be able to see that. And the other point he mentioned, how he put forth the effort. And what he said in that regard, he said, I stayed up until the wee hours of the night, completing his assignment. He said, I met my deadlines. So it's showing that he held himself responsible and accountable for his work. And then in the end, what he did get over $1 million in scholarships. And I just thought, and he was a valedictorian in 2010. And I was just so proud. I mean, each time I see that video, I literally get emotional when I listen to him, because he did an awesome job. And it's something that's timeless. And it just shows that when children get the right support, what they can achieve. Because we have too many. So when I tell the parents, what I have them to do is, I want them to be just as engaged with their children as they are with their cell phones. Okay? One thing they do at the cell phone, they hold it. And so I tell them each morning, before your child leave to go to school, they can give them a little hug, whether they want it or not. And even with my grandbaby, we have a little prayer we say, thank you, God, for this day. Thank you for protecting me and providing for me in every way, And so whatever encouragement you have. And I had one parent said that she had night duty. So the children actually going because she had a night shift. But she said what she do, she write them little notes. Now, the saddest thing is when we drop the children off to school and the parent, for whatever reason, the kid did or didn't do something, someone is fussing at them and all of this, that's not a good way for them to start their day. And the next thing we do with our cell phone, we read it. And what I want them tell the parents, and this is the ones who have children who can read, that when they come home with their book bags and all the material, you could have them read that to you. Like sometimes the mom might be cooking or whatever, in the house. And so I tell them, make sure they go through and read it. And even have younger children that the older children can't help the younger ones. And the other point I talk about, your cell phone, you talk to it. And so what you have to do, let your children and their teacher know what your expectations are. And just because you expect them, say that they have at least a 3.0 or above grade point average, don't let them think that, because what bothered me about it, I saw a little group of young men, and I said, well, how many of you have 3.0 or above? They looked at me like I was from Mars. Mm-hmm. Like they were just as intelligent as they could be. And that's what people got to know, the difference between being intelligent and smart. Because see, smart is not something that you just are. Smart is something that you get. And you get smart by doing the work. You're putting forth the effort. Because my grandbaby got on my case not too long ago and telling me, well, you expect me to be perfect. I said, no, I expect you to do your best work. And when you do your best work and you earn good grades, I say, because perfection does not apply to human beings. And so one period, couple of times, she made all A's. And I said to her, I said, does this mean you're perfect? She said, no. I said, what does it mean? She said, I did my work and I did it to the best of my ability. And the other thing I tell parents too is this: you set the standards for your household. See, that's why I work with these parents. You set the standards for your household. I remember some years ago when the people was looking at graduation rate and setting the standards. See, in your house, if you have however many children you have, because when I work with the parents, I say, well, how many, the children? I say, now, how many do you expect to graduate high school? They look at me like I'm from another planet. They say, I expect all of them to graduate. Mm-hmm. I say, well, how many of them do you want suspended from school? They said none of them. They don't. So that's a 0% suspension rate. So with those things, once you have that standards in your house, that's what you work toward. And so I tell them, because some of them, when they come to me, they're telling me about somebody else. I say, no, we're working on your issue. What is it that keeping you from being able to do what you need with your child. And have them understand you want them to thrive and not just merely survive, as they go through life. Because when you go to the grocery store, nobody don't say, well, where's the Esau line, the ESE line, or the honors line, or whatever. You see a line with numbers, and they might see you've got 10 items or less. That's how you line up. When you go to the gas station, if you pump 5 gallons of gas, you got to pay $5 for each gallon that you pump. You got to pay that price for it. So let them know life is not that so accommodating. And the other point, you do it your phone. You pay attention to it, and you keep your eyes on it. And so what you have to do is make sure you take advantage of the resources that are available to you. I tell the parents at least once a week, they got the student information system. You sit with your child and you just look at the grades. If the teachers have, and if there have been assignments that have not been posted, feel free to contact the school or send an email. Because a lot of children got emails now that they can email their teacher to make sure they get it updated. And someone was telling me, but I don't know how to get on. I said, your children know how to get on it. Your children, those are your experts. Okay. They are the little experts when it comes to it. And then one aunt said, well, I don't know if I said, you know what an A and a B look like. That's all you need to know. If you can recognize an A and you can recognize a B, that's all you need to know. And anything else, because my grandmother used to say, and see, she really psyched us out. When she would see the report cards, because my brothers, they were not as particular about their grades as I was. So she would see mine and here, look at, she said, oh, baby, this is good. She was so proud of my report card. Then she saw my brothers. She said, well, what are those funny looking marks? See, some of them had some C's and D's on it. Uh-huh. And I said, oh, Grandma, not knowing that she couldn't read and write. But evidently, somebody told her what an A and a B looked like. And if I tell my parents now, and some people say, well, we got grandparents raising children, which I understand that. And I also tell people it took work to conceive babies, took work to birth them. It's going to take work to raise them. So either we're going to do it or the street's going to do it and say what it's going to be. And so that's why I tell them, you sit and then you call the teacher, talk with your child too, because you want to hold them responsible. Because one young fella said he confessed that how he now hold himself accountable because he was in high school, that he didn't make excuses when he forgot to do an assignment or he didn't study.
Well, inside of our community, we've always had that major problem as it relates to the parent and the child, particularly going to the school centers. Because when we see how the younger parents nowadays don't have the instructions that we used to provide in our community, like what you're giving to us now, it really sounds like someone, when I was coming up, I used to get that kind of conversation from someone in the church. And they used to always break bread with us, and we find it in everybody inside of the community. But today, it's gone.
No, but still, maybe it might be gone, say, if you look at the whole, but if you look into individual places, it's not. There's still some people who have their church members, supporting the children. There's still even individuals such as myself. I go down to Connect the Greatness down in Boynton, and I hope you all have them on because they're doing an awesome job. They meet every Thursday, like from 6 to 7:30, I think it is. And they have the mothers in one room and the boys in another. And the boys got what they call the coaches. And these are the Black men that are mentors and coaching them. And then they got the mothers. And guess what? Recently, when I first started with them, they thought level 3 was good on their assessments. And then when I told her, I said, no, level 3 is not good. I said, you should be strive for 5. And now this time when Dr. Cass did a study of 17 of the boys, 17 of them scored 4s and 5s. 2 of them scored all 5s. And see, I know that's what we can do because that's how we've been created. We just created for greatness. We got the intelligence, but how we use it.
But we
And
need it, but we be needing examples, right? See, like right now, to have conversation with our children and with our parents, we need someone that has that kind of understanding to facilitate such an exchange. Because what I see when I go to the school centers, I don't see that kind of construct in the learning process inside of the school centers.
exactly.
I know it got to
But you know what? This brother Carl, you are right. But let me tell you the two things. Keep in mind, I'm a senior citizen. Okay, so I don't have that much time left with trying to say change the system. However, right. I do believe you need navigators and eradicators. Okay, eradicators are the one in my mind work on the system itself. Navigators are the ones who work to get them through what it is now. Because see what's gonna happen Monday morning. Children gonna show up for school. Now, the ones who got that support, with the ones who have gotten that support, now they're the ones who have actually gone on sits with their child, sat with them, and looked at their grades to see how they're doing. Mm-hmm. They'll be the ones that send the teachers an email or whatever. Because see, for me, I don't have enough time left to create a system that it's going to work to address everybody's needs as such. However, for the ones who want that navigation through it, that's what I'm here for. And that's what I share with them. And because I got a couple of families that I can let you talk with them, because I got one where the grandmother, who's not the blood, is raising this young man, an awesome person, but he's not with his mother or his father. Okay? And she's doing that, and she's going through cancer treatments and all of that. And then I got other families where they're getting the job done. And because even some, that's what I was telling somebody, I look at the young ladies and the ladies now, they're all beautiful. You know, they get their hair done, got the weave and all. But see, what I'm trying to do, work with what I got still left, because I use that money to help with school clothes, you know, shopping for them and all of that. Then I also have my sisters. They also help me when some of the young people have needs. And so we have such brilliant young people. All they need is make sure they get the right support. I know somebody, Ziegler, said, our children are born to win, but too many are conditioned to lose. And saying we have to stop that. And if the way I see it now, it's going to happen, you know, like house by house, you know, as we go up.
But I got to say this, Ms. DuPont, sure. and I know you don't like to get inside of that wonder, but when we did the Achievement Matters for All, you said you have to have eradicators and
that's correct. And navigators, people to work you through.
And that document between the Black community and the school district of Palm Beach County, you were like the brain behind that, and that was that's still in relationship.
Let me do one little correction. Coalition for Black Student Achievement handled that. They see what you all did. No, you all were the ones who literally. I forgot. I don't know, is it the Urban League, whoever you all met. But anyway, you all had all the steps down, all of that. You all had an excellent working draft. And what we did when I was working, we took that draft and sat down with you all and let you all know who at the district was responsible, say maybe like prior to step 1. And so that person would get that responsibility. And also at the district, it had like a timeline on it. See, so that's where we came in. And then while I was working, I did everything that I could in terms of monitoring, making sure the steps were done. You know, we had the red, the green, and the yellow. And the yellow was the one that was in partial implementation. The green was full implementation, and the red was no action has been taken. So that's what I'm saying. And keep in mind, when I'm talking about eradicator and navigator, I'm saying they're working at the same time. I'm not I'm not saying this one, now we do this now. No, you need both of them at the same time. It just so happened that's my role in terms of working with these parents, you know, to get them through. And when I share, that's why I use that analogy about the cell phone, because the other thing with the cell phone, and I tell the parent, you keep it charged up, don't you? So you keep your children charged up. Don't do talk like, well, I never liked math, okay? I don't understand that. See, then you start conditioning them if they can't excel at math, then they don't do it because they got a cover now. You know, my parents said she couldn't do math, so if I struggle, and that is not the case. So what you want to do, just make sure you build them up and let them know that they got the intelligence. That's the whole beauty of how God has created us as human beings, you know. And because I'm gonna give you another example. When one of my relatives, the little fella, was in kindergarten, it was, and so the teacher said, well, "What's your name?" And he said, "Pookie." Okay, the class laughed, some of them, and but guess what? That individual is very intelligent because that's all he has been called all his life, Pookie. So if somebody asks you, then that's my name. Because so that's what I learned, you know, because that's what I hear. And so that's why I have people to understand that. So don't judge, because I had some of the adults want to laugh. I said, no, this kid is intelligent. Because you said, you've been calling me Pookie, Pookie, Pookie. Everybody call me Pookie, okay? And so when you ask me what's my name, and I tell you Pookie, I'm intelligent. And that's why I don't want them to confuse the intelligence and also the get smart thing. And not to say, oh, he's not dumb and he's not smart. Because I tell them, if and the one person said, oh, he doesn't know his name. I said, you should have said he has not been taught his name. Okay. See, because when you say
different. Yeah.
That's correct. You say, well, he doesn't know. I said, no, he has not been taught. You teach him, he would know his name.
But here in Palm Beach County, you know, inside of our community, we have to face it, Ms. DuPont. A lot of times we look for people with names and titles, and many times we give a lot more attention to those who have such a title. And that's the reason why I keep trying to bring it out of you. What was your station when you worked for the school district?
In terms of how you mean, what the jobs are? The jobs
your job title. Yes.
Oh, the last one are the ones of them. No, okay. First of all, I started out as a math teacher. That was a coordinating teacher, the secondary mathematics curriculum specialist. I had that job about 8 years or whatever, writing curriculum. Then I was a manager for management development. Then I was director for human resources and organizational development. And then I became an assistant superintendent. Now, and that's the job I retired out of. It took about 12 years. And one day someone asked me, because we had so many superintendents during that time, like coming and going. That's why, and someone asked me, how was that? So I just say God's grace and mercy. Because, and that was the only reason, because so many did not want me there. In fact, one person, and you know, you always have somebody who want to come and tell you kind of what's going on. I remember my grandmother used to say, any dog that brings a bone will carry one. So I was always leery when somebody gonna come to tell me something. That one superintendent came in and had gotten rid of all the sitting assistant superintendent other than me. Okay. Then that person, after the person told me, I went and started meeting with the individual who was getting rid of people to see, well, what is it that he wants, you know? And then and I understood exactly what it was. And then, so I was still there. And then the biggest scenario happened to me was let's turn that phone off. The people was sitting in one of the cabinet meetings. This was another superintendent now. And they took all my departments away from me. And here I'm just sitting at this cabinet table. And that's why I learned other thing. The moment you allow somebody to make you angry, they are controlling you. So I don't let people control me that way. I remain calm. And they came back with the organization chart. I was the only one with nothing under my name. And I said, to whom should I report? And so they told me the deputy superintendent. I said, take my box and move it up there. And that is the story behind me getting a lot of work done that I started in the community. Also, at that time, I got a 5% raise. So when I went out to one of the university at Kaiser and had a little chart going, and I told the young people, because it got down to 0 departments. One I had 9 departments. I said, now when do you think I make the most money? They thought it was a 9. I know it was a 0. And so, but I always stood by what I believe, and I was there, and so I did all this work in the community, and that's why I just thank God every day for it, and that's why I'm passionate now about knowing that no matter how deep your despair, it's the choices that you make, and even with the children and the young people, and you surrounding them with people with caring adults, because even now with the technology, the AI, all this stuff that's going on now, you still have to, and that's why I love the words you all had lift in this show about how you want to uplift people and inspire. And that's what I
Right.
do with parents. I don't look like, how can I say, oh, I believe in God, and yet still I'm all down and out or whatever, okay? And that's why I tell the parents that I'm willing to work with them, and it's work. See, it's not easy. It's not because, and I just thank God every day uh, for my life experiences. I got some of my own people who did not finish graduate high school because they just got a certificate of completion. Uh, some of them been on drugs. Some of them still on drugs. Uh, I witnessed my uncle kill my aunt, when I was a little girl. So going through all the, and I can name a lot of other things. And I always tell people, whatever you got in your family, I can find it in mine. But I truly believe that when you make up your mind and you want to go follow God's will and way for your life, you'll be able to do it. And people do what they want to do. Because I had one young lady, and I told them the children needed, I forgot what it was. They were getting ready to go on a field trip. And this, and I'm talking about my own family, okay? She didn't want, and she had the money. It wasn't that oh, she just didn't have it. She just chose not to. But yet and still, when she heard about some concert, she was out trying to find people to keep the children and all of this. But then when it was time to go to school for a meeting, she wasn't doing that. And I just said, and I just looked at her, I said, well, what are you valuing? And I found out by coincidence because she hadn't shared it with me, because we would have kept the children in terms of her, having to go to the school for the meeting and all of that. And I look at my grandparents and all of them, they didn't, it was nothing fancy about us. And but they valued education, and that still works today. And the other thing I tell my families too, the old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. But nowadays you have to know who is in the village. You can't leave your children with anybody.
That's
And
true.
because that happened in my family again. My one of the relatives left him with A, okay? A left and left him with B, and B left them with C, okay? And when she got back, she going to A, and come to find out, another relative was riding along and had the babies on the shade tree with all these old men.
Mm-hmm.
Because C had taken the baby with them, and they sitting out there under the tree, and the baby about 6 months old. So the other relatives went and just snatched the baby, and got the baby and brought it home. But I was just sharing how, and I just thank God for my experiences, because people want to look at you and think, oh, like you got it made. No, you don't. Long as you living, I just thank God for each day, and I don't ever think that, wow, okay, now I got it made, because I do not do that.
Yeah, but when I look at Palm Beach County and I look at the efforts that we've been making out of the 6 or 7 counties, how the respect that have always come out of Palm Beach County because of our direction. And most people don't know who you are, Ms. DuPont. And I think that's crying for our community, because I do believe that you have the skill set to help us in many different areas by sharing with us how to get that kind of activity or engage in our community. Because right now, many of our young people don't know. It might sound simple, but it's very, very complex to a lot of people because they've never experienced that kind of activity around them. When our community was kind of like solid, where everybody had their environment in the block, we don't have that no longer. So we're going to have to do some new training. And I want the people to know some of the people that have been doing things inside of Palm Beach County that gives us the idea at the school district to be called exemplary.
Exactly.
And it comes from your part. And then another part that I kind of get with, they're building museums everywhere, but they don't have actual information. You are actual jewel in the idea of Palm Beach County Public Schools here in Palm Beach County. And our family need to know who you are and what are some of the things, like you told us, some of the things that you have been through. We need to know that so our children can set goals and set mile markers for themselves, having a real person inside of it. Because we don't hear people coming in, we don't hear people, Ms. DuPont, coming to our neighborhood like we did 10, 15 years ago, trying to get programs started. That's not a reality right now. They start programs, but
exactly.
programs not for us.
Yeah, but you know what I truly hope and what we do. See, we have access to the internet now and all of that. Because now, when I was working, you know, again back in the dark ages, and the children, you know, had textbooks and all. I used to always tell them those pages are not glued together that you can't move on to something else. Okay. Now, just as they go online and searching for things they want to search for, they can go online and search for these other things that we want them to do. And that's why I encourage them, even with the district, it has a Conmigo that they call it, a program to help children with the homework. And we also had the West Palm Beach Library, the Mandel Library. I serve on that board, and they help children with their homework, the high school and elementary. And then we got Rose Trolley. Now, Rose Trolley, they give you free. I think they cover like from 45th Street. I don't know if the Belvedere Southern Boulevard. Anyway, I think it could be Belvedere. I have to double check. Anyway, I use Rose Trolley, and they come to my house, and they take me downtown, and then and also my grandbaby go to Dreyfus, and where we had to go. My daughter and I went to one of their meetings. We took Rose Trolley. We don't have to worry about parking, and it's free. They accept tips, but you don't have a tip, they don't care, because they get grants and all. That's what run them. And that's what I'm saying about having these resources. And one of the grandparents I was sharing with you, the one that's really sick, going through her chemo treatment and all, that's where she carried her grandson down to the library. And those services are free. And what I do, I let people know what's there. And when you go on that computer, there's so much you can research. I even tell the young people, even a district website, just go, you all go explore everything else. They know how to navigate through much better than I do. You see, I had trouble even getting on today. See, and they know how to navigate all of this. And I had my grandbaby been here, there would not been an issue. But I'm just saying, and that's why I tell them, nobody's blocking you from navigating and finding out about different things. And I said, then when you all find out, I said, you are always going sharing dirt, okay? I said, but if you find out a good way to work an algebra problem, you know, I said, share that with your friends. And so that's we
need your kind of encouragement. Mr.
No, because that's all I do. Because I don't look at, because what had happened. Now this is where I had gotten to. What my issue was years ago, you know, and it started. I would literally select some young people. Say, I got two set of twins. They both got PhDs. I started them when they were 3 in the 3rd grade, and following them on through. And so what I do, I don't just mentor. It's not drive-by mentorship. You're in for the long haul as such. Because even one young lady, I even forgot her name. She was working at Burger King, and she told my daughter, "Say, tell your mama I am at Palm Beach State College now." And so I'm just so happy to hear that, because, you know, in terms of making that change, but it's just so much there that's open for them. And plenty of time, I enjoy staying below the radar because I get more done. And then also, it was a time when I was selecting children, and then they would want to go out of state. And I kept telling them, no, you stay in state in terms of the finances, because they didn't have enough money. But some was so determined. Next thing you know, they back. And then one day, I got so disappointed because they're very intelligent people and smart. And I said, God, why do I keep selecting the wrong people? And seeing that the voice came to me, said, you don't know how it's going to turn out for them. And then when I understood that I was put in their life for a reason and a season, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. And sometimes you get to see it, sometimes you don't. Because I had one one of my nephews on drugs really bad, and his grandmother would take him in the back room, just pray with him, and told his parents, say, one day you all will be proud of him. Sure enough, she passed away, and then he ended up becoming a minister. So, and he was, done, and very productive, and I never forgot that. And so that's why I just say with the young people, and we do what we can do. And I can't live everybody's life. I can't come up with a solution that fit everybody's situations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If people come up to say, well, if I even offer something, well, parents don't this, don't. I say, I'm tired of the general stuff. When you come to me, come with your individual situation and let me know what's keeping you from being able to do your part as a parent. Mm-hmm. And see, and that's been working for me. And then even if I had one parent, she was so cute. She had 4 little ones, and they were all in like an elementary. And I think, no, it was 3 in elementary, 1 in middle school. And so she just came. She said, oh, I'm just so frustrated. I'm so tired. I said, guess what? I said, you're doing it right. Mm-hmm. And then she paused on the phone. And that because I would say, hey, that is right. And then we talked about her situation, and that we came up with some of the things, that she could do to make things better. And then I had one individual, and parents, they shared what we had, but the key group you need to invite is Connect to Greatness.
This past week we had at the school board meeting, this is Hispanic, this their month to do their celebration. And then they brought out, they did a lot of camaraderie, what we used to have inside of our county that you were a part of, where we would invite one another that didn't know and share with one another the information that would possibly move us forward. But, and what I'm trying to do, Ms. DuPont, is trying to bring that kind of spirit back into our community, because we need it so desperately now. Exactly. At this time. And I was just wondering, are you still doing training inside of the community?
No, what I do is, okay, for example, St. John Missionary Baptist Church in Pleasant City. See, I go there, like when they had the back to school program, and I do checkups with them. And so those are 2 main groups I've been working with, because again, it's not just drive-by. And what we can do, even with this program, what you all would do with this program, to me, this is just awesome. Because the key thing, nobody can stop you from doing that. Because even if you went to a church and you say, well, we'll do, we'll have this, whatever. Nobody don't keep us, but we just do that ourselves. And plenty of time, I don't like going to somebody else with something, especially when I know that we can do it and get it done.
Right.
And that is something we can do. And I'm going to tell you the extent that I've gone with things, since I've given examples. I know this, again, years ago when I was working, there was about 23 people, I think, at a housing complex in South Bay. Okay. They did not have their GED, and they wanted it. So what I did, I got the person in charge of vocational education to literally send the teachers out there, and they stayed on the complex. The owner, the manager, gave us a meeting place where they could meet. So they didn't have to even leave the grounds. Mm-hmm. And so about halfway through, the director came to me. He said, I don't know, we be able to continue this. I said, why? Because first, he said, because people started dropping out. And you know what happened? We got down to 3 people, but we continued the program for those 3, because they did finish and they did get their GED and everything. But see, again, when people request something, they got to be willing to do the work for it. And I don't know, because the others, because we had to have that number before we start to get the FTE to be able to fund it. And but then they start dropping out. And but we couldn't go back there again because we didn't have enough because you have to understand how systems operate too. That in order for us to do that, we would get the funding if we had enough people to be able, to pay for it. But I still don't give on ideas, because nowadays so much you can do online. Mm-hmm. And,
well, just like you said, you've been involved with HR, you've been involved with assistant superintendent. So you got to have some kind of skill sets that most people don't possess. Even principals and teachers, they don't they don't have what you have been trained to do. And I know that inside of our community, we were trying to get each other inside of the room so that we can see the need for us to attach ourselves to each other.
Exactly.
And as we move forward, I'm just hoping that some people that are listening now, maybe some of our mothers that are genuinely concerned, because you're retired and you're still out here trying to assist in our community. And I want them to know, because see, like when I go to places like Lindsay Davis out here in Riviera Beach, and I go to other seniors places, many times all they can do is dance and stuff like that, go to the casino and stuff like that. No, but I think if we were to present them with some kind of real tangible product that they don't feel burdened down, because like the way you explains it, it doesn't seem like a burden. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. Exactly, because you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head, because I went to one church, and the elderly lady, she said, well, baby, I can't get out. I don't have I said, do you have a phone? She said, oh, yeah, I got a phone. I said, then, and it was one kid that she mentored by calling. She said, well, I know what I can do. I can call, she had the name and everything, and got with the call whatever it was. I could call him at least once a week to see how he's doing, with his grades. I said, there you go. And that's why I tell people, before when I was doing the presentation about Wake Up, Step Up for Proficiency Beyond Level 3, I would tell them, if you walk out of that room and saying, well, the schools need to do this, the principals, the teachers, I said, I failed. I said, if you walk out the room and saying, well, this is what I'm going to do. And that's what that lady, that's what she said, because she was concerned. And she said, she said, I can do that. I said, there you go. I said, and that's what you do, And
we need that encouragement, because we can't seem to find it, because we don't have those things operating like what we had before in the past. And I said, like when people talk to me, I remember when all of the organizations in our community worked feverishly to try to bring some improvement to our community. But then with the influx of the drugs and the guns and all of the other ills that are plaguing us, we're finding ourselves not having those kind of communication links. And we need that kind of interruption so that we possibly might be able to do things. And I want everybody to know this is Miss MaryAnn DuPont. And like I said earlier, she got all of the skill set. And why not use her? Why she's willing to give it to you? I mean, because see, like if we had, I always envisioned the church like it used to be, Mr. DuPont. I went to the Pentecostal, I went to every church I went to. They always had some kind of tenets as it relates to improving the quality of the community. And we need that kind of source of energy to be refused inside of our community. So I want to thank you sincerely for stopping by today.
No, but I truly appreciate you all for even allowing me to have this time to share. And that's what I just thank God for it, because I just want the parents to know, because that the power that they have. And just start in your house. I know one of the again, I was in a community meeting down in Derry some years ago, and one of the parents, who was one of our bus drivers, raised her hand, and she said her son was on the football team, and so when she saw his progress report, he had a C in algebra. All the other was A's and B's, and so she went out to the school, and the teacher said, "Well, he got a C. Why are you here?" She said, we don't do C's in my house. Okay. And that's when I got the idea, you set the standard for your house. And then sure enough, she got on his case, because she said, I take you off that team. And he was a little star player, and she was not playing. And then let the teacher know. And so your boy didn't have any more C's in algebra. In fact, he didn't have more C's on the report card. And he earned his grade. It wasn't given to him, And,
that's that kind of encouragement. That's that kind of motherly love. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what we need, because our children, they just watch us, and they see what we do. And so if you can't just be preaching one thing and then, operating in another way, especially like, in their presence, But the key thing is also important that they have a good, this is my personal belief, that they have a good spiritual and moral foundation, and all that is free, and just watch, and it's what you do with them. Because like my little grandbaby, we know when we ride in the car, we don't have the phone, because I told her I want her to know streets and all that where she is. And so when I had to pick up from the movies not too long ago. She was she had to direct me on terms where she was once I got to that little plaza place, whatever. And see, she was able to do that because she paid attention to where she was, you know. And so those are things that you can do. It doesn't take any work, but you got to model it. See, I can't tell her don't be on your phone, and here I am on my phone.
You're right.
See, so how's that going to be working for us, you know?
Yeah,
And
but then as we go forward, I still say, you know, we here in Palm Beach County, we focused on establishing a relationship with the church, and I still been working on that. And I want to tell everybody, I think I have the most powerful PowerPoint relative to instruction, what it is that you need to do for a community. Right. And you and your daughter put that together so that I can present that to the community as well. I'm hoping to get that further into the community, because I do believe those 10 tenets that we focused on, it provides us with some kind of skill in order to put some kind of things in place so that we can look at what we're doing continuously, you know what I mean, as opposed to having a little drive-by activity with the school and learning position. And I do believe that education is the cultivation of the human spirit and the human soul. And if we don't take the time to stress a little bit more the need for us to get a proper education, no one is going to share that with us, because we can see how people are getting in trouble for just using words. So,
and just before we go, I know it's about time, but there was another someone that said that parents can tell but never teach unless they practice what they preach. And then at plenty time, if you practice what you preach, there's no need to preach it, because they'll get the message. Right. And the last one with Michelangelo said that the greatest danger for us lies not in setting our aim high and falling, but in setting our aim low and achieving our mark. And we got to quit setting our own aims low and think we've done something great and wonderful when we haven't. And so that's why I have to understand that. Tell the children, level 3 is not for me. Level 5 is where I thrive. And again, that's why so much I truly appreciate y'all so much for allowing me to be on and just sharing the message, so people understand that God has already done his part, already given us the intelligence. But what is that we're doing with it?
And we Palm Beach County, we're one of the 67 counties inside of the state of Florida, and it's up to us to kind of like lead the 39 municipalities that we have located inside of Palm Beach County. Right. Mm-hmm. I think if we could do like what we used to do in the past, when we used to compete with Dade and Broward, all of that. I think if we could come back and do that over again, because it brought a great yield for us as a spirit and the people.
It is, but you know, the greatest competition you can have is yourself. When you got high standards.
That's true.
Because some of the things that they look for and judge by, you know, when you got those standards and you work toward that, you don't have to worry about it, you know. And because I've gone to different municipalities with their boards and done presentation. I have done like about 10 minutes, because I know they're very busy, but I hit high points and they were very, because see, really, for all of Palm Beach County, if I could raise a wand, I would have all of them on the when they post like it's report card time, just say report cards have good spirit today. Review the report card, progress reports, you know, deadline is today. You know, just those kind of messages. You know,
setting the standard, setting the standard. And then one of the major problems that I always share with everybody, we don't invest back into education like the Jewish community does. Because like if they say they seen a need, they would spend resources in order to achieve such a said goal. And I think inside of our community, we just need some more encouragement so that we can start to focus on some of these things, because these things are vitally important.
Yeah, and we have to do it ourselves, you know, and we're in control of it. It's us. Somebody said, what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us is small compared to what lies in us.
And we Palm Beach County, I'm gonna leave it like that, because we Palm Beach, and ain't nothing none of us can do about it until they change the boundaries. So I think we need to work together and do the things that are necessary in order for us to really show some improvements for our babies, because I don't hear nobody, you might hear it, Ms. DuPont, but I don't hear nobody really talking to our community as it relates to education and the needs of our babies as we move forward. And we're going to be closing this school year out, starting just like we started the last one, without giving the proper instruction.
Yeah, but again, if they look at SIS, that student information system, it got everything on it, and the children know how to get in it. That if I had one message, that's what it would be. And then and this was up there, like my grandmother said, you can leave a horse of water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
Okay. And all that information is just out there, you know, everything that we need. And then we explore everything else. And so it's SIS, that student information system gateway. That's the key. Just go look at that.
And should you decide to do a podcast or whatever, I wanted to introduce you to my producer. And he's very patient because he have to deal with me constantly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I make those old people mistakes, you know what I mean? So I want to introduce you to Anthony Brown.
Yeah, and thank you, Anthony. I really, really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. All righty. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. DuPont, as we continue to try to do the work in Palm Beach County. Thank you, Anthony. And we gone.
All righty.
That's that. Thank you, Tony.
We do this every Sunday, 4 p.m. sharp. Don't keep it to yourself. Spread that love. Don't keep it to yourself. Spread that love. Oh, thanks for watching. We appreciate the view. Every like, every comment, every word from you. Same time, same place. Next week's the vibe. So don't forget to hit subscribe. Drop a line, let us know what's good. From the city to the screen, we reppin' the hood. Wisdom, faith, and love in the game we lace. See you next week, same vibe, same place. Talk to me, yeah, we keep it real. Brother Carl on the mic, got that soul you feel. Next Sunday we ride, same truth, same thrill. So until next time, peace, love, and God's will. Yo, drop a line, let us know what's good. From the city to the screen, we reppin' the hood. Wisdom, faith, and love in the game we lace. See you next week, same vibe, same place. Talk to me, yeah. This is Brother Carl signing out. Stay blessed. Don't forget, Sunday at 4, see you there. Yeah, drop a line, let us know what's good. From the city to the screen, we reppin' the hood. Wisdom, faith, and love in the game we lace. See you next week, same vibe, same place.